Hi, I'm Jason Ario, and I'm working on a new game called Dystopian Nights. This game was previously a small demo I made in a week, and I've been trying to figure out the marketing strategy and how to make this game into a big game. I realized I really love the ambiance of dystopian futures, like seeing all the cool gadgets, lighting, all the cool atmosphere that these dystopian cyberpunk narrative games and movies tend to give us. So I wanted to make a game myself like this, one that really sucks you into this cyberpunk future. A game recently came out called The Longing. It's a game where you play as a little servant that's living in a cave, waiting for his king to awaken after 400 days for him to rebuild his power. The gameplay is thus. You literally just walk around an empty cavern, hang out, and do what you can to pass the time. Recently, we as a whole world have been doing similar things while quarantining during the coronavirus epidemic. At first I had the idea to make a quarantine simulator, a game where you're just waiting for the epidemic to pass. Something that would kind of ease our minds and relax us during this whole epidemic. And I was about to make a game like that, but I realized I could make something more. Something that's not just a meme playing on current events, but something that can extend past it, something I can continue to build and work on, even in the coming months and maybe years. I came up with the idea to make a game in a dystopian future where there's really no goals to the game, like The Longing. You literally will just walk around a city, play checkers with the local alien guy, eat cool, weird alien foods, and generally just pass the time. Something that could be on a mobile device, or on Steam, or on a console. Something where you can make your own goals, and be free to do whatever you want. And so that's what I started working on. Dystopian Nights, a 2D idle game. This is the first devlog for this game, and I plan to release a new update and devlog for the game every Friday, so stay tuned. So yesterday I spent the day making a mock-up of what the apartment for the main character would look like. I decided for the first week of development I wanted to make a prototype of the game, and it would be called Quarantine Simulator and released for free on sites like Newgrounds and itch.io. It would basically be the most smallest slice of what the game is going to be. Basically an idle game where you can hang out in your apartment and basically just interact with the objects inside of your apartment. Use your computer, lay in your bed, read a book, etc. So first thing I did on Tuesday was write the whole list of everything I wanted to add for the first version of the game. All of the activities you'd be doing, and everything I would have to code and make interactable. I then quickly coded an interaction script that will allow the player to interact with the objects in the environment. I then coded some point-and-click movement, because on mobile devices it will probably be easier to point and click to move than to use on-screen analog sticks, though I think ultimately I'll have the option to choose either or. Next thing I added was a clock to signify the day and night cycle of the game. My current plan is to make the game revolve around this day-night cycle in a loop, sort of like Majora's Mask or Stardew Valley. The next thing I added was point-and-click controls, and I made sure that it was applicable for mobile devices as well by adding a click and drag to move function. This little square operates as your target, and it changes color depending on your action. If you click an interactable object, it'll turn yellow, and if you're just walking, it'll be white. This makes it so that it's pretty intuitive no matter which control scheme the player prefers. If they like to point and click to move on the computer, they have that option. And if they just like to use the arrow keys or a controller to move around, they can do that as well. To Today I'm going to be adding some interactivity for the gameplay objects in my game. Namely, I want to make it so that you can go to sleep and reset the sleep cycle, and I want to make it so that you can open up your fridge and rummage through the contents. So let's get started. First thing I did was add in one of my favorite Unity assets, Fungus, which allows me to do a lot of branching dialogue options and option-based interactivity without doing any scripting, or very minimal scripting. I then made some quick code that made it so that I can call these flowcharts that I make when I interact with an object, or when the character arrives at the object after it's targeted. I then spent some time making the UI look a little bit better, making it match the game's style. I then made a quick animation of the main character climbing into the bed, and I made it so that this triggers when you hit yes, when the option pops up to go to sleep. One last thing is I coded that the day resets when you go to bed. This will have a lot of implications later in the game, but for now it just resets the clock in the top right hand corner. So that was all that I did for the week because I ended up getting so bogged down with other projects. Namely, I was doing a job interview, and as a lot of job interviews in the tech industry have like multiple steps, one of the steps was to make a test project, and I ended up spending the whole week working on a test project for a potential job. So if I do get the job, I will keep you guys posted about how it goes, and thank you guys for watching.